Sort of ruddy darter. It looks a bit like a ruddy darter, though. I can't be totally sure.
Yeah.
Good to see the colour of the front legs. If they're all black, it's a ruddy darter.
Excuse me? What colour front legs have you got?
Now, one of the really exciting projects that we got into this year on the farm was we did some work towards building a baseline for biodiversity. Now, biodiversity is the variety and the variability of all living things, all different species, be that plants, be that mammals, be that birds, and be that, crucially, invertebrates. Now, we had a set of surveys done on the farm this year, and at the heart of it is we got a professional invertebrate survey done by Andy Musgrove. And Andy is a naturalist who came onto the farm 6 times during the year and using all sorts of different techniques. So using sweep nets and suction and sieving and various different techniques for capturing invertebrate life so that we could understand what we had on the farm. So he came in to the farm every month from April through until September, repeated surveys in the same areas of the farm. And one of the areas that he looked at, for example, was around our beetle banks. So we have these beetle banks, and there's a video on our YouTube which you can find about making beetle banks. And basically these beetle banks are integrated pest management features. They're like gigantic bug hotels. They provide habitat for terrestrial invertebrates that will hopefully be predatory and parasitic of pest species. So as part of an organic farming system, it's crucial that we actually give these invertebrates a home. So part of Andy's work was concentrating on the beetle banks so that we can understand if we actually have the insects that we want to welcome onto the farm, we can understand if we have them there.
So we'll take them all, just take a selection, because there could be several species involved.
Sure.
It might all be the same, but some of the other bees are making these little burrows and putting their eggs and then sort of provisioning them with nectar, with pollen and so on.
Yeah.
You'd expect. The blood bees basically are cheats. They then go and lay their eggs in those burrows so that their offspring can have all the benefit of the hard work that the other bees have done.
They're like cuckoos of the bee world.
Yeah, and actually about half of bee species are cuckoos. It seems like with birds, it's an unusual thing. It's the only one species in Britain that really does that.
Yeah.
But actually with insects that's really common.
Okay.
Loads of bees do this.
Yeah.
And have clearly been doing it for millions of years, because you can look at their evolutionary lineage and so on.
Yeah.
So you've got these parasitic things that lay their eggs and eat on a caterpillar and will eat it, but you've also got other things where they'll lay their egg nearby, so their offspring can benefit from the food sources being provisioned by something else.
Fantastic.
There's a lot of complexity in there.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got in here. Might be something.
So Andy did a bunch of work across the farm, and we're getting the results in from that as we speak, because Andy's still identifying species. But at the moment we know that we've got at least 90 different species of beetle. We've got at least 50 different species of Lepidoptera, which is moths and butterflies. We've got over 50 species of bee, and we've got loads of other species, and Andy thinks in the end we'll end up with at least 600 different species identified, and he's currently sorting through, I think he's got about another 2,700 samples to identify. So really exciting piece of work, and this will really help us to understand what invertebrate life we have on the farm. And it's so crucial, because invertebrates are such an important part of the ecosystem here on the farm. They are a food species for other insects, for birds, for small mammals, but also they're doing everything from soil creation to pest management, and it's really important that we are doing the best that we can to manage habitat appropriately for them as part of an organic farming system, as part of an agroecological approach to farming. So the other thing that we did on top of Andy's invertebrate surveys is we've had a load of other surveyors coming onto the farm. So Norfolk and Norwich Naturalist Society very kindly came to the farm in July, and NNNS botanists, ecologists came onto the farm looking for flora, looking for invertebrates in areas that Andy wasn't covering, and also came on looking for birds and whatever else they could find. So they've also produced some interesting findings as well, and we have a report that we're sharing which has some of those findings in. Also, shouldn't forget, thank you very much Joe Parmenter and Norfolk Flora Group, who've come in to look at loads of different flora species, including chalk, grassland specialists and arable plants across the farm. And they've made some really interesting discoveries as well, which is fantastic because we've got 45 hectares of cultivated margins on the farm, and a really interesting selection of arable plants popping up in those margins. As well as that, we had Graham, the Norfolk Beetle Recorder, came on, and Graham set up some traps here in the woods to see what beetles he could find. And we've then had Jane Harris, an ecologist from Norwich and Norfolk Bat Group, came in and confirmed that we've got Dorbenton's bat roosting in our lime kiln on the farm. And we've then had Chris and Denise Lamsdell coming onto the farm several times during this year, ringing birds and giving us continuing reports on what they've been seeing when they've been coming onto the farm. And then on top of that, we've also had Graham White come on, and Graham's an amazing ornithologist who's come on and done a breeding bird survey. So loads and loads and loads of surveys, loads and loads of really fantastic people coming onto the farm as well. Thank you Ursula Juta from Norfolk Rivers Trust, who came on and confirmed that we've got juvenile eels in the channels around our marsh fields and water vole. So with the help of all of these incredible people, we've started to build a really, really great picture of the biodiversity that we have on the farm this year. Really, really important, so that we understand what we have and we can start to build out on the farm a picture of the natural capital that we have on the farm, so that we can conserve it, we can protect it, we can share it with others, but also so that in the future we can actually be accounting for it. So it's been a fantastic project, and we'll be sharing more of our findings as we get more of that data in. So thank you very much to all of the incredible people who came onto the farm this year to do all of that amazing ID work and tell us about all these incredible species that they've been finding. Really, really exciting. Thank you very much.